So tonight we want to welcome a couple friends from Texas. First, we're going to have Julie. You want to bring up your camera. Julie Novack is from the greater Austin area, correct?
Yes, I am.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And so Julie is going to, so why don't you tell them why you're here?
I'm here because I have a little friend who I'm looking at light tech eye gaze systems for him. And I just joined LessonPix on Friday and saw that there was no eye gaze frames, but there was lots of other grid options. And I've had other examples, and he's going to be using the Unity symbols. And so I messaged Bill and we talked about the possibility of getting an eye gaze template. And well, that's how we're here today.
That's right. That's right. So to be fair, we have had other requests for eye gaze, low tech or mid tech eye gaze templates. So I had this thought before, but I was also of the opinion, oh, they can just use a grid or they can use the word plugin. It's not that hard, except for it is. It actually really is kind of hard to make eye gaze templates. And so I went ahead and finished the job I had started before, and I did a little bit of research. I've got fun things to show. And it's currently in testing. If you are in the LessonPix users group on Facebook, you can request to be a tester. I'd like some testers. Julie, you will be a tester shortly. But we're going to show where we are. But this is not a bad example of we do respond. We don't always respond instantly over the weekend.
No.
There are requests that have gone much, much longer, and those people are irritated watching this video saying, where's the one I requested 3 months ago? But when
this is not typical.
It is not typical, but we do absolutely listen.
We absolutely listen, and we continue to do a lot of testing because it's not easy to keep things simple.
Correct. But this one I really liked, and so we needed something to talk about, so I cranked it out so we could get it done today.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Different.
It's kind of shocking, especially the more complicated, the more complex one. Yeah. I think is really kind of neat. So let's see this. Let me show now. Julie's going to show some things made with a variety of symbols, not LessonPix, that she has been making by hand, and then we're going to talk about how she would make this using LessonPix now that this template exists, and we'll move on from there. So let me turn off my camera so it's all you.
Okay. So this is a template that I found using a different symbol system, and sure. The front of it talks about the different pragmatic functions. And as you can see, with eye gaze, my face would be looking at my communication partner. Right. What I found was that I was looking for something that wasn't black, that was either white or clear, and then my friend that I'm thinking about is using the new eye tracking system along with the accent, and that uses the Unity symbols. And this, like I said, isn't the Unity symbol, and I wanted something that would match his high-tech device. So because we want to create a light tech device for him.
Right.
So that's kind of how this all started, was, with this. And like I said, you just flip it over and look at different categories. Like, for instance, this is the actions category, and in the past I've made it or the template has made it red or pinkish, but on the Unity symbols it's the action words, the verbs are green. So I wanted that to match up,
right?
And so that's one feature that I wanted to adapt to our
on those. When you look
Yes.
at those, when you're holding it up, are you seeing the mirror of that on the back?
I do not, and that is something that
you asked for.
I want. Yeah, we asked
Right.
for, because I can't see where he or she is necessarily looking, and
Right.
so it's very difficult. So yes, that's a feature that I was looking to get some help with.
Right. And so you asked for something that looks a lot like this.
Yes.
Right. And so just to show everybody, this is like a basic. I would look through this, and the person could look and look up at the different numbers. And what's interesting is that on the back, this has got the opposite, right? And that's automatic in the template. So this is one of the things that computers do pretty well, is that they can keep track of these and keep them sorted. So this is exactly what you asked us for, which isn't exactly what I had started before.
Yes.
But we've already added this one to the test server, and we will add it. And you can change these colors to any background color that you want, just like in our other templates. And it should lay out perfectly. And it's kind of neat that it just prints them front and back. This is on cardstock. Normally we'd laminate this, but we've learned that with the lights in here, you guys wouldn't see anything if this was laminated. So, but this gives you a good idea of kind of what it looks like. The idea here is you're going to be talking to an individual who has no or low motor function.
Yes.
and use where they're looking to help them communicate. So this is actually what I had done from the last time we had a request, which is awfully similar to this. A couple of things different. It has less room to look through, right? So if you're looking here, you can look up and to the left and to the right. And what's neat is that on the back, it's got the exact same pictures, just mirrored, right? So no matter what, so if you're looking at eat over here, I'm looking at eat over here, etc. And so this is a template that I went ahead and finished and got ready and put up for you. And you'll see these are colored just by the normal coloring feature. And then there's the more complicated one, which I actually really love. And so this one's going to take me a minute to explain. But this is you'll notice here the colors. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see the colors. Let me just get these up nice and close here. So you'll see like this one's in a pink box, and it's got 4 boxes underneath it, all of which have the same colored backgrounds. So this one's got a blue box and a yellow box. What's kind of neat is you can actually create quite a vocabulary that somebody can use here because they actually do it in 2 steps. So I would look like up and to my left over here, and you'd say, is it pink? And then I would choose the color if I want. So if I wanted the word go, right? So I would look up to the left, you'd say pink, and then I'd look down to the left, and you get this orange, which matches the go on here. So it gives you a 2-step process, and it gives you 36 pictures with only 6 positions. Then you add yes and no, so you actually get 38 different things that they can say with one board. And this would take forever to lay out, right? This would never work. There's no way that anybody's ever going to get these to line up using the standard grid. But if we do this once, and we've already got all the colors in it, let's go ahead and show kind of how you'd make this using the new template, okay? You good with that?
And Bill, that's it's called partner assisted scanning, what you were referring to. Kind of you pointing, kind of reconfirming what the person is looking at. So that's great.
It's pretty cool. Let me show you on the test server kind of how we would do this. Let me show my screen. Oh, I should be watching for questions. So let me double check. I don't think there are any. Just joined. And yeah, so we're good. Let's see. Oh, hi. There you go. Hi, Jess. How are you? All right. So let's go ahead and share my screen and see if I can walk through how to do this. So I'm not going to, let me do this. Let me cheat a little bit and load up my tray. So I'm going to go into your LessonPix section, and I'm going to go to, let's do the simpler one, the I need help board that I made last night, okay? So I'm going to load my tray up like this, just so that I have the pictures that I found, okay? You can find these however you normally want to. Most people know you go to the clip art section, you browse around, or you can do a search, you can go to the sound finder, lots of different ways to find your pictures. But once you have them, when you hit create materials, if you type eye gaze frames, I need a better picture. So Julie, I need a picture of somebody actually using this, please, before we go live. Here are the pictures, and this is a good set for what you might use in a medical setting. Right? What does somebody need help with? It's an eye gaze frame. Let's call this I need help. The style I've got, this is the one that matches your layout right here. I'm going to make these in letter legal and 11 by 17 and probably A3 and A4 as well. But we're going to make these and test them first. I can tell whether or not to put my title. I won't use a simple Gothic font, okay? I can open up the grid layout. It will show me. It would be nice if these were over on the left and the right, but if you've used us before, you know that the way this works is there's 4 across, then 2, and then 2. So you can move these around. You can paint the cells. You were saying you would want to paint like all the verbs green and whatever. There's drink and toilet could be a verb.
And eat.
Eat. And yeah, so maybe we'll put, we can put eat and drink together. We can move these around however we want. Okay, maybe the call button needs to be red or something. So does the pane. However you decide you want to lay these out and color them is fine. When you save the layout and hit finish, it's going to go ahead and just make this. It's automatically going to do both sides. It's going to flip it for you. Here's your PDF file. You'll see there's the front and there's the back. And they automatically see each other, and all the colors are kept and they're automatically flipped. So is that what you want this to do?
Yes, that is exactly it.
That is exactly it.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's exactly, I like that. And even if you ended up like putting this on a Lexan piece of plastic, at least you got them positioned correctly. You can cut out, they'll be on both sides. Even saving it from being, like you said, double-sided is really helpful to have the picture side facing me and then one facing the partner. So. Right. Yeah, absolutely. I want to show one thing before we go. I'm going to go ahead and go back here. I just want to show that if you use a larger symbol grouping, right? So let's clear my tray and load these up. Going back to the eye gaze frames, you'll see this has got a lot. It's actually got a ton of pictures in here. This is how I created the big one that I showed before. So on this one, it's automatic. It's going to ignore any colors you set. So if you say I want to put this on the color 38 position, right? It's actually going to, you can still move things around and say, you know, where you want things to be. Like that is how we had it. You lay it out, you got yes and no in the middle. You'll see that it's got the different rows have the right number of columns or the right numbers of cells in them. And then this will automatically color them for you because the coloring is part of the scanning plan, right? So the coloring is part of the method you're using to do this. Here's our PDF, and you'll see that these are actually all set up and ready to go. There's front and back, and all the colors are flipped within it, okay? Which is really cool, right? I think this is one of my favorite templates.
It's very cool. And Julie brought up a really good point about using the paper with the two-sided.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, even on this one. So on this template that works as well, right? So if you look carefully, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but these actually fairly closely line up. You might have a little bit of white if you cut them out here, but the front and back line up. So if you cut out this yellow box, the yellow box on the back is right there as well. So even if you do end up taking these and individually cutting them out and placing them on a Lexan board or other see-through thing, you still have a fraction of the amount of work from doing it from scratch, right?
Yes, I know.
Yes.
Great. Yes, I'm excited.
I'm so glad you're excited.
And I loved how Julie did the flashlight to shine through.
Oh yeah. Do you have a flashlight?
She does.
No, but I can show it here on ours. Because it'll work on mine.
It works on hers too, because she has one of yours printed.
All right.
Because she's prepared.
Yeah, I know. I don't have I have a.
You don't have.
That's so sad.
So sorry.
I don't have one. So anyway.
Julie does though.
Yes, Julie does. So and it worked.
Yes, yes, and you can use like any pointer or flashlight, so that way the person on the other side knows exactly what you're looking at, in addition to your verbal speech. So.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well,
excellent.
Julie, I think you did great. For somebody who just joined us on Friday, I think you've gotten a trial by fire.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for having me, and I look forward to making some templates.
Yeah, absolutely. And share with us what you want. Make sure you put anything you make in the sharing center if it's awesome. Okay. The people who watch this show very much care about getting links to your sharing center page. Sure. I'm trying to be better about that. So when you share things, they'll find them. And thanks a lot. I think
Thank you. Bye, guys.
That's awesome. All right. So that was awesome.
That was very cool. It's unplanned, last minute. It turned out amazing.
And you thought I was crazy this weekend cranking that out.
I thought you were crazy last night, but it turned out really cool.
It did. It's been in my head since they originally asked for it. And this was just a push to
So when does it go live?
So it's live in the test server right now. What I need some people to test it. I need some people to before I make all the other page sizes, the legal and the tabloid, I want to make sure these are the right sets of layouts. And then once we get that testing done, which should be 2 or 3 days, I would say by the end of the week, it'll be in the main server.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Well, that's
Look forward
awesome.
to it.
So if you want to help test, join the Facebook page, the Facebook users group. So look up LessonPix users on Facebook. Join there. Say, hey, I want to help test, and we will make sure you get access to the server. Okay? But only do that if you're in a situation where you're actually using these. We need real users to test this in the real world. Okay? Awesome.
Great.
All right.
Great.
Who's next?
Oh, we have another guest.
We have 2 guests.
Yeah. Jeanette is here.
Johnette.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm
Also
well.
from
How are you?
Texas.
Yes,
And you're a native, so you can tell by your accent you're from
Yes.
Texas.
I am. I can't hide it.
No, that's awesome. And you're from College Station, right?
Yes.
And so College Station's a relatively new group of ours. Got training this year. I think Eric did your training. And you guys are doing great, right? You guys are using LessonPix a lot.
We are. I've had it. I've had access to it for about 3 years, actually.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
So I don't know if we just renewed or what through my school
I think-
district, but I
Yeah,
love it.
maybe you
I was
added.
gonna
There was
say,
a new
she's
group.
a power user.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me what you're showing us today. Actually, let me turn off my camera.
Okay.
You can have the whole screen.
Okay. I want to start out by showing a daily report that I use for some of my students whose parents may not speak English, and they need help understanding how their child's day went. So I use the translation app or the translation feature to translate to the language that I need. This one happens to be simplified Chinese. And basically it just tells how the student's day went. Was it okay or was it good? Or and then what kind of specials the child went to and any therapies, and then a place for me to initial. And it literally took a click of a button to get all of that information translated. And it is super accurate. I had someone who is bilingual check it, and it was, they said it was perfect. So
Perfect.
I
So-
love using that. And also on the same note, some of my students may need different kinds of schedules. This one is a hand washing schedule. So I have this in English, but then on the other side, I have it translated into, again, the Chinese, the simplified Chinese. So now all I have to do is laminate this, send it home, and parents who don't speak English can still see exactly what I'm asking the child to do. And even though the child gets to see it and read it in English, the parent can understand it through their native language as well. So I love that. And I made these different kinds of cards for another student so that just to kind of help with behaviors at home. And I sent the Chinese version that I, again, translated with the translation tool. I sent that version home with mom or with the student for mom to be able to read, to see when the student is exhibiting certain behaviors, this is what you need to say. So she can understand exactly what it says and show him the visual.
Perfect.
And so that's been super helpful for us. So I love that. And I was able to make the cards a little bit bigger instead of just the regular size smaller cards. These are.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So
Oh wait.
did I lose
came
you?
Back. You
Sorry.
for a second.
Yes.
You're back.
Yes.
It was
Yeah,
us
that.
probably.
Yeah.
It was probably us. So we only missed like the last maybe 2 seconds there. We were worried.
I was just showing the difference in how I can make the cards different sizes.
Gotcha. Perfect.
So, and for a parent to, to be able to hold that up during a behavior or something for their child, to really show exactly what is expected. And it just kind of helps the teachers and the parents be on the same page.
Perfect.
So
So
I really like that.
some of these folks may not know how the Translate tool works. Would you like me to show them?
Absolutely.
You were technically challenged as we started, so you're not on your laptop.
No, I'm really sad about that.
It's
So,
okay.
on my
It's all right.
phone.
So I've done demos before. We'll be good.
Okay.
I'm really glad you made it.
I'm really glad you made it. You pulled out the phone and made it happen, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So I shared my screen, and you'll see that my tray is empty, and I'm looking at just a basic schedule here that I found in the sharing center. It's just a normal old. This is step up, turn on the water, get soap, wash hands, dry hands, and throw away the towel. This is something you might want to translate to Chinese or any other language, right? So I'm going to load my tray, and if I hit
Yes,
create,
absolutely.
Where'd she go?
Oh, no.
You don't need to turn off your screen. You're good.
I'm here. I don't know what's going on.
You're good. You're
I'm
good.
here.
I'm telling you.
So and you never know, right?
It's technology.
So we're going to go ahead and go into the picture schedule section. Here's the word, and this is the feature that Johnette's talking about. So right here, you can choose any language that Google supports, and there's like 94 languages in
My
here.
goodness, that's a lot.
And so, and we've renamed a couple because people didn't know that the Tagalog was Filipino. We've added some other, like Burmese is Myanmar, things like that. But you chose the simplified Chinese, and when you hit translate, it just translates it, right?
Yes.
So
And it works perfectly.
Works perfectly. And I'm sure what we found in the past is, like, if you choose orange, you might get the color or the fruit. But if you say eat the orange, you will get the exact right word and the right phrase. And it does a great job. And then you just hit next. The only tip I will give is, if you're using international characters, make sure you use the international font, because not all the other fonts have all the characters. And then you just choose let's make a checklist, and we'll call this
hand washing.
Hand washing. Okay?
There you go.
You won't have that checkbox. That's for me. So when I hit finish, it will create these. Everything will be translated to simplified Chinese. And you'll see in the PDF file that these will look perfect. And it does lots of languages that I've never heard of. And I'm certain it's not perfect, but I'm also certain it is way better than a non-speaker can.
Now,
Absolutely.
before you go back, I liked how she did both English and Chinese.
Right.
So you just hit the back button on here.
So let me show you. If you want to make both, let me show you how I would make both. Let's start over. So right here, I have them in English.
Okay.
So if you're going to make both, make the English first. So we'll load them up. We hit create. We'll hit next. You'll see they're in English. Choose the font, checklist schedule, choose my international font. Go ahead and make the English one.
Okay.
Okay.
Why do you recommend the English?
Because you can translate it back to English,
Gotcha.
but it will have been translated to Chinese and translated back. And sometimes it doesn't come back perfectly. So here I have my English version, which is going to be available when I'm done. I don't even have to leave. I can hit back. Here's my the same settings. I'll hit back again, translate them to Chinese, hit translate, next. It's still got the settings I chose, like the font and everything. Hit finish, and now I'm going to have both. And so I can either download these, but just to kind of show you, in the Your LessonPix tab, under your materials, so this is the English one, and this is the Chinese one.
And they're identical.
They're identical. There's no difference other than the actual text.
Very nice.
Okay.
Good little trick there.
Yeah,
Use
absolutely.
The Arial font. Do English first.
Another good tip is, if you are, some people have asked, can we do 2 languages at once? The answer is you have to be able to do one. So for example, in here, I can hit create materials, and you'll see these have already been translated, but I know this is, I'll put the / step up. You can add that afterwards. It does not mind you mixing character sets. Turn on sync. So you can mix them like that. You also can use the pipe symbol. It's this vertical bar right there. That's called a pipe, but only programmers know that. And it might be confusing to folks using Chinese. It's the shift / button,
Gotcha.
right above the enter key.
Right above enter. Okay.
Right, well, on my keyboard. That one tends to move around, but it's the vertical bar. Okay.
Very neat.
Yeah. So I think that's a good example of when you would use this. I will tell you, one of my favorite things to do, and Johnette, you'll probably use this, is if you go to the Sharing Center and you find any of the social stories,
Yes.
these are great to translate, right?
Yes.
So even whether you're making your own or otherwise, the full sentences get translated. And what's neat is it translates the entire sentences correctly. It's not word by word. It
Right.
restructures the sentences and gets the thought across. So
Absolutely.
let's say if I wanted to do this safety with strangers, I can clear my tray, load my tray. I want to make stories and books and stories.
Mhm.
Here's these long sentences in here. I want to put them in. Let's put it in something other language. You speak another language? You speak Spanish, Jeanette?
I don't.
Well, maybe somebody out there does. Let's see.
Somebody will.
And so this will actually translate all of those thoughts into Spanish, not word by word, but sentence by sentence, right? It's not always perfect, but it is always better than a non-speaker could do.
Right.
And then while I'm here, I'll show you my other big tip. We have half size, whole size, and quarter page, and you can do them. But I really recommend you do whole page.
Okay.
And the reason for doing whole page is that when you hit finish, I'll show you. We don't have any information about your printer, so it's very hard for us to get it to line up when you fold for a booklet or something.
Right.
But Acrobat knows all about your printer. And so if you're in Adobe Acrobat, when you go to print it, there's actually an option here called Make a Booklet. And this will do it correctly. And it'll even give you options like I only want to print the front sides, or I only want to print the back sides, or I want to print all of them. And it will do it perfectly because it has the information we don't have.
Mhm.
And so
Awesome.
that's a really good way to get your booklets to come out perfect. I didn't really mean to print that.
Oh, well,
Sorry.
now it's coming on the
I know,
printer.
we're burning cardstock. I got it. But
But it's all good.
it's all good. So this is what it looks like when you're done. Oh, look at the personal space. I love that symbol. You made that.
I did
So
have your bubble.
you have your bubble. And there are people who do not have a bubble. They're a little irritating. All right. So let's
I think this is great. I love the way Jeanette engages her families
Yeah.
that don't speak English, and pictures are universal.
right.
Yes.
So they both can follow the pictures while reading the words. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Julie, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Now come back on and say hi to us for a minute. So
Hello.
if anybody has any questions for these great ladies, let me know. Everything else has just been, so far I've gotten nothing but positive comments on the chat here and in the Facebook page. But you guys have any questions for each other? Any suggestions?
No, I'm really excited that I now know about the language translation feature.
Isn't that easy?
Very easy and just really helpful. So
Yeah. And you're in Austin, so you'll have some Spanish speakers, right?
we have lots of different languages here as well. So that's really helpful.
Very cool.
Very neat.
All right.
Very neat.
What?
Do they get prizes?
They do. So
See, look at that, Julie. Come on.
that's right. You get prizes. So we have two different
Jeanette as
prizes.
well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we have two prizes. You can take your pick. We either have a cough drop license for
Ooh.
cough drop AAC, or we have a $50 gift certificate to Augmentative Resources. And I don't know if you guys have seen Augmentative Resources. Let me show you guys what it looks like. So Aug Resources is one of our partners, friends of LessonPix. And if you look at their website, you'll see they make all. If you've ever been to our booth, is my internet down? I don't think so.
Are we spinning?
I don't know.
We're having all kinds of
We are having
technology
this. Yeah,
problems.
this is not their fault. Are you guys still with us?
We're still
I'm here.
All right. Well, augresources.com. There it is.
There you
There you go. Sorry.
Just got to be patient.
Yeah, got to be patient, but it's not them, that's us. So they make all kinds of Velcro stuff. They make core and fringe boards. And look, that's got LessonPix pictures in it. See that? So they make all kinds of visual schedule holders and vests for PECs and picture cards and all kinds. Like, she's the queen of Velcro. She's got like the best Velcro stuff ever.
She sure does.
And she sells it. And
Very
she
creative. Founded by an SLP.
Yep.
was here in Florida.
Still, yeah, she's in the midst of moving, but we like to say she's local. She was local until very, very recently. And so, yeah, so she makes these with her mom, and they've now hired folks to help them make it. But they've given, they're donating $50 gift certificates for our guests. And the other is Cough Drop. I think you guys probably know Cough Drop. Let's see. Cough Drop is a AAC, is an AAC service or website that is an online version of an AAC app. So you can run it on anything. It runs on the Mac. It runs on the PC. It runs on the iPad. It's identical. It works offline, and it is
incredible tools for modeling.
It is the best modeling tool out there. It'll track how many times your paras. It'll give goals to your paras on you're going to model this, or your parents. I'm going to model this many things. It tracks the modeling separate from the kids' usage, and it's available monthly for $6 a month or $200 forever. So, so it is a really good tool for AAC, especially if you can't get your hands on one of those accents that you're working on, Julie.
We're trying.
Yeah, it's all good, and they actually have access to all of the LessonPix symbols within it. If you're a LessonPix member, you can just use our pictures in it, which is kind of cool.
Very nice.
So if you prefer either of those, you can let me know offline. You don't have to choose now. Just shoot me an email or a message and say, I want the Velcro stuff, or I want the AAC stuff, and I'll send you gift certificates. How's that sound?
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you just got here, Julie. Look at that. Already getting paid. All right. Well, let's check and see if we have any questions here. Marja Brooks says, so excited you showed the translation feature. Sorry, I'm still trying to kick this cough. And everybody else is happy. So thank you, ladies, for joining us. And we look forward to see it. Make sure you guys join the users group if you haven't. You'll find out about new stuff faster.
Yeah.
And you'll know about all of our show and tells. Right?
Yeah. No, this was great. I love all these little nuances.
Right.
Because we talked about keeping LessonPix really simple, easy to use, and that it's hard to keep it simple.
Right.
And that keeps our price low by keeping our overhead low. Not a lot of questions and training. So off the bat, people are using it. But today, we've gotten to delve into a lot of little nuances that you were saying, such as the international characters, that Arial font.
Right. The Arial International has all of the glyphs.
Yep. And then the booklets, like you were saying, print whole page and cut that down from your printer setting. I mean, there's been a lot of interesting things that we've learned.
That's the idea, right?
Just from
like that's the point.
Getting together. Oh.
That's why we're here. That's why you're here. So, all right.
Excellent.
So I think this has been great. And ladies, thank you so much for joining us. And Julie, thank you for jumping in with both feet. You can tell Melissa and Cindy, you did awesome.
Put us on our calendar last week, a while ago, and
showed up.
She made it.
That's right.
Fabulous.
That's right. Lori has taken over the booking of show and tell, and was all proud of herself. And then she had somebody bail.
Yes.
She's like, oh wait, it's not that easy.
Somebody, but things happen. Life happens.
Life happens. We're all good. She'll come back next week.
Good. Yeah. No,
right?
I'm okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and thank you to everybody who watches and pays attention to this stuff. I appreciate it, and we'll see you all next week. All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.